So, good evening to all. Yeah, we are 135 participants right now. I think we can start the session right now with the permission of the resource person and technical team. Both resource person, Jalashmi ma'am and Rajini ma'am, if both of you is ready, we can start the session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So once again, good evening and warm welcome to all. As you know that Central Sahodaya Conclave Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala, CSCK, proudly organizing webinar series phase 2 for the stakeholders of CBSE. Today we are conducting webinar for secondary social science teachers for the subject of decoding sample question paper and important suggestions for the board examination. Here with us, two eminent resource persons, Jalashmi G. Rao, teacher, social studies from Bhavans Vidya Mandir Girinagar, and Rajini KG, social studies teacher, Bhavans Vidya Mandir Girinagar. On behalf of Central Sahodaya School Conclave Kottayam and CSCK Kerala, and all the participants assembled over here, let me welcome both resource persons for the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And ma'am, as you know that November 1st, the formation day of 7 states of
Kerala.
India for the 7 states of India and 5 union territories. Historically, it is one of the important day, and for us Kerala, it's a formation day for our state too. So
that's it.
Be a subject like social studies webinar. It's the most finest day, as we think that November 1st is the most finest day. Historically, in a subject wise, it's a very important date for us as a social studies aspirants. It's a very important date for us. The formation day of 7 states of India and 5 union territories. So we are very fortunate to have both of the resource persons with us to expand their knowledge and share their wisdom with us. So we are very much fortunate, ma'am. We sincerely thank both of you and your team leader, your principal, Kalyani ma'am too, and Ramaguti sir, the head of the organization, Bhavans Ernakulam region. We have long association with the Bhavans group of institutions, as we know that Bhavans Vidyalayas is providing one of the finest, topmost institution in India the last couple of years to creating better citizens. So on behalf of each and everyone, let me thank the Bhavans, let me thank the Ramaguti sir, let me thank the team leader Kalyani ma'am. We are fortunate to have both of you with us. As we usually start our webinar with a prayer song, but today I already started with my welcome note. So I will recite, usually the participants are recitating a prayer song. Today, for November 1st, I will recite a 4-line prayer song.
That's nice.
Okay. Shall we start a prayer song?
Yeah.
മനസ്സു നന്നാവട്ടെ മതമേതെങ്കിലുമാവട്ടെ മാനവഹൃത്തിൻ ചിന്തയിലെല്ലാം മാമ്പുകൾ വിടരട്ടെ മനസ്സു നന്നാവട്ടെ സത്യം ലക്ഷ്യമതാവട്ടെ ധർമ്മം പാതയതാവട്ടെ, സത്യം ലക്ഷ്യമതാവട്ടെ, ധർമ്മം പാതയതാവട്ടെ, മനസ്സു നന്നാവട്ടെ, മതമേതെങ്കിലുമാവട്ടെ, മാനവകൃത്തിൻ ചിന്തയിലെല്ലാം മാമ്പുകൾ വിടരട്ടെ. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of Central Sahodaya School Conclave, we have our patron and team leaders with us. Our Honorable President of Central Sahodaya School Conclave, Mrs. Marina Sebastian, Principal Life Valley International School, Puduppally, Kottayam. Our Secretary, G. Vinita G. Nair, Principal Alphin Public School, Kanjirappally, Kottayam. And our Honorable Treasurer, Sri N. Neelakantan, Manager, Sri Shankara Vidyalaya, Vaikam, Kottayam. And all the CSCK leaders and our technical partner, Insight E. Insight E is a service provider for the schools of CBSE and educational sections. They are providing holistic progress card and teacher service program and ERP software. On behalf of Insight E, today we are representing Sachin and the Managing Director of Insight E, Shuhaib. Welcome both of you. Thank you for all the technical support providing for the Central Sahodaya School Conclave and the CSCK Kerala. So we are about to begin the session. Now the floor is open for you, both of you. You can start the session. I wish this is one of the fruitful session for the stakeholders, the participants. Dear participants, you can feel to use the chat box. You can interact with the resource persons at any time. If you have any clarification doubts, you can feel to raise your hand or unmute your mic and ask the participants. Now the floor is open for the session. I wish all the best for each and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vipin, sir. Namaste to one and all present here today. Let me begin with Mark Twain's quote. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So welcome to all the presentation done today. The discussion theme today is sample question paper, social science. The latest sample question paper in social science, as you have all seen or you must have not seen, we'll be just discussing it. That will be the main course where we have to just go in detail about how different questions can be given. Social science, of course, partly only a few percentage of them enjoy teaching social science, but most of us feel the brunt of seeing the load of lessons and the children find it boring. So it is on our part where we have to consider that concept wrong. It is on our part to get motivated on ourselves by preparing more themes which is interesting to them as far as possible, to make them feel that it is the life skill of every individual who is living in this world. So we just have to pay attention to what people need and what has not been done. So let's start our practice to see our students wade through flying colors in our subjects. So first and foremost, we'll just go to this presentation. By the way, I welcome Rajani, my colleague, who will also be sharing her views on the topic geography and economics. And I'll be highlighting on history and democratic politics and a few concepts of the portions and the pattern in which the assessment goes on in social science. So welcome, Rajani. So I'll just present.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
The PPT which is prepared. Okay. So the title, as Ranjit sir said, Transforming the Transformers, where we are in the phase 2 secondary session, online training social science programs. And we have the objectives of the session is to stay updated, to track performance of ourselves as well as the students, and to increase efficiency. That is also on both the sides, to understand the marking scheme and for better revision. So we can't just go away from the Bloom's taxonomy. The cognitive domains, of course, it starts with knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, evaluation, and creation. The question paper is prepared for all the basics of all individuals, from higher order thinking skills to lower order thinking skills. So it doesn't mean the question paper should be too tough, or it will never be easy for when we take up any subject called social science. Next, we have the rationalized syllabus, which is more important for most of us, where we have to be very keen. For the newcomers as well as those who are very experienced, there has been a lot of changes in the latest rationalized syllabus. I would, I'll just do it once again. This is the sample question paper. Yeah. When we take up rationalized syllabus, the chapter this year, 2022-23, we have in history, rise of nationalism in Europe, which is as usual, we have been doing it. And the concepts are the same: French Revolution, the idea of the nation, making of nationalism in Europe, age of revolutions, making of Germany and Italy, visualizing the nation, nationalism and imperialism. So when we teach the children, we have to highlight these concepts whenever we are giving them. It is not at a random reading every line of the lesson, but these concepts, questions can be expected. Nationalism in India, we have First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation, different stance within the movement towards civil disobedience, a sense of collective belonging. All of us might have by now finished the portions, of course. And then we come to this chapter where we have to understand all these years it has been chapter 3 and 4 an option. Either one can be taught. But now this year, this or has been removed and we are supposed to teach both the chapters. The making of the global world, the pre-modern world, the 19th century, 1815 to 1940, that is just before the World War, the interwar economy, rebuilding a world economy, the post-war era. The age of industrialization highlights before the Industrial Revolution or the proto-industrialist period, hand labor and steam power, industrialization in the colonies, factories come up, the peculiarities of the industrial growth, market for goods. So we have this year, after 3 years, we are just starting back with this chapter, print culture and the modern world. It's quite a detailed chapter, but very important to everyone's life, where the world of print, the page or the paper, which is very important for every literate, till the digital world which we have now. So this lesson seems to be very detailed, and it's at most very much important for every one of us to concentrate on every topic. The first printed books, the print comes to Europe, print revolution and its impact, the reading mania, the 19th century India and the world of print, religious reform and public debates, new forms of publications, print and censorship. So here, history chapter, so far it is 5 chapters, nothing is deleted. But in geography, we find geography, should I request Rajini to just present? Rajini, can you please do, or shall I continue?
You can continue, ma'am.
Yeah. Resources and development, all the topics which we must have now made thorough with, but excluding box information on state of India's environment. So we find the topic which is not there. The questions cannot come in this particular column. Forest and wildlife, conservation of forest and wildlife in India, It starts only from that. Before that, we have an introduction on about what is a virgin forest and what are the factors necessary to create a forest. All these topics are not there. We are just starting with conservation of forest and wildlife in India. Types and distribution of forest and wildlife resources, possibly map marking, or we must have done a form of activity for the children to know the 3 types of forest in India. Community and conservation, we can highlight the concept of conservation everywhere around the society, how greenery can be induced. Water resources, we have water scarcity and the need for water conservation and management, multipurpose river projects and integrated water resources management, and rainwater harvesting. This chapter has also got the map activity, where we have to give a proper drilling on the names of rivers as well as the dams constructed on the rivers. Agriculture, we have types of farming, primitive subsistence, intensive subsistence, a comparative study, commercial farming, and then the cropping patterns, the 3 cropping patterns, major crops, which is mostly for map activity, food crops and other grains, non-food crops, technological and institutional reforms. Here we have food security, that is not there in the new textbook. Food security is what we have in the CBSE syllabus, but we have this topic also. Impact of globalization on agriculture, we have to exclude. But the latest printed geography text doesn't have food security, but we can't just make an excuse on it. We can just give a base, because in class 9 in economics, they have, after the lesson poverty, they have this chapter, food security, for which the COVID time, pandemic, all these chapters were deleted. So in order to bring out an awareness, it is enough that we give a short introduction on food security, or just an activity on what is food security and how is it important in a society. So next we have minerals and energy resources. Almost all the topics which are there, nothing is deleted in this particular chapter. And we have map activity also in this chapter. Manufacturing industries, it's quite detailed, but there are a lot of exclusion this year, excluding industry market linkage. And agro-based industry, we have excluding cotton textiles and jute textiles and sugar industry. Mineral-based industry, we are also having a deletion on iron and steel industry and cement industry. Industrial pollution and environmental degradation is a definite question in all question papers, most of it. And control of environmental degradation is supposed to be also important. Lifelines of national economy, roadways, railways, pipelines, waterways, major seaports, airways, communication, international trade, tourism as a trade. So when we take up this, map work is also very important in this lesson. Children are definitely supposed to know about the harbors, the ports, and the railway lines, as well as the waterways, the harbors which are there, and the major seaports and airports. Communication part, what I felt was, though it is an old edition of this lesson, communication we have technologically advanced in a far different way, where communication here, it just highlights with email and computers and information technology, that's all. So we are more ahead of communication. If we want to say, children will be able to write if any question is asked. International trade has got definite techniques or formulas to study what is trade and what is international trade, where what is the export and import and all that. And tourism as a trade is also to be revised. So there we have geography, 7 chapters, wherein a few topics in geography is deleted rather than a chapter. Then democratic politics, we have power sharing, a short lesson, which gives an idea of a base of how a country can be ruled with a group of people. And Belgium and Sri Lanka is 2 forms of power sharing in which children can understand the pattern of political administration. Accommodation in Belgium, where it is supposed to be, it can come in value-based question also, where how matters can be accommodated in our life situation. Why power sharing is desirable? We have an answer, prudential and moral reasons. Forms of power sharing are definite bulleted points where every point carries 1 mark probably. So federalism is the next lesson, which is quite detailed when compared to power sharing, which is also the base of any political interested student to know about what is federalism and how matters can govern through an individual. The interest towards political science can be created in this particular lesson when it highlights about India. What is federalism? What makes India a federal country? How is federalism practiced? Decentralization in India. Decentralization in India is definitely a part of the chapter where the children should observe their surroundings, the political units around them, the municipality, the taluk office, and the Zilla Parishad. All these things are very much known to them. Gender, religion, and caste is the chapter which is added this year after COVID pandemic. Gender and politics, which is divided into public and private division, women's political representation, religion, communalism, and politics. Communalism is one concept where we have a deletion of images, not topics. A few images are deleted where questions can't come as picture-based questions. So this particular reprinted edition, we need not bother to teach them. Caste and politics is a technical question. Caste inequalities, though the children might know. And caste in politics, politics in caste is something where we have to draw a table and make them understand in notes. Political parties, why do we need a political party? Its meaning, functions, and necessity. It's clear. How many political parties should we have? National parties, state parties. How does the Election Commission decide a national party? Challenges to political party and how can parties be formed? Reformed. These are the concepts given in the lesson. Outcomes of democracy, where the lesson starts with power sharing, and now we are understanding what are the basic outcomes of a democracy. So how do we assess democracy's outcome? There are 3 possible reasons. How is it accountable, responsive, and legitimate? Economic growth and development, it just gives a comparative study of the rich and poor in the society and reduction of inequality and poverty, accommodation of social diversity, and dignity and freedom of the citizens. So we come to an end for democratic politics where a few topics and a few images are deleted. A few images are only deleted and 1 chapter is deleted. Apart from this, we have popular struggles concentrated on project, which we'll be seeing in detail in another slide. And we have a lesson, third chapter, democracy and diversity is also deleted. So here, next week, the last concept of social science, the understanding economic development. We have this particular lesson development where it is all mostly application-based questions expected because different goals, different people, different promises, income and other goals. Nothing is stable and nothing is constant. So certain application level questions are expected. National development, we have to understand the formula of per capita income and GDP. How to compare different countries or states. It's again a table pattern where the child has to designate and differentiate how they can compare on average as well as to see the percentage level given. Income and other criteria is also an important topic. Public facilities. Sustainability of development highlights on crude oil and the domestic water supply or the water, drinking water facility or the content of water in the world. So sustainability of development is something a value-based question which can be expected from this lesson. Sectors of Indian economy. Sectors of the Indian economy, it's a very interesting lesson where the child deviates itself to any occupation in which the child wants to go, or it can compare its forefathers or their parents or the surroundings or the locality in which one activity will be seen by the child and observed. Sectors of economic activities we find here, comparing the 3 sectors. The word sector keeps on repeating here, primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors in India. This is one pattern of question, that is economical activities are primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. And then we come again to another question, division of sectors as organized and unorganized. So when a question comes without this word organized and unorganized, with the meaning of explain about the division of sectors, the children get confused whether it is primary, secondary, or tertiary. So we have to make a neat understanding of if the word division of sectors come, it should be only organized and unorganized. Again, we come to another concept of sectors in terms of ownership, public and private sectors. So everywhere in this chapter, we find the word sector, where the child will be very basically knowing about primary, secondary, and tertiary, where we have to make a differentiated table of organized and unorganized sector, as well as what are public sectors and what are private sectors, what are the advantages of these two. Money and credit, of course, nothing is deleted. Money as a medium of exchange, modern forms of money, all these things, different credit situations where they would be applying it in their life situations. They'll all be knowing about banks, but the functioning of banks is something which is secondary for them. So, terms of credit, formal sector credit in India, self-help groups for the poor. So, globalization and the Indian economy is a chapter where we find in history making of the global world. So there is always a possibility for a child to see when a question comes, making of the global world, most of it, these concepts don't highlight on globalization before 20th century. This is before 20th century, and what we learn in economics is making of globalization or globalization of the Indian economy is something different. The word globalization, we have both in history as well as in economics. So here we are more technically learning about production across countries, interlinking production, foreign trade. What is globalization finally? What is the role of multinational company? What are corporate functionaries, World Trade Organization? It's completely a definite lesson for the child to understand about the world economy. Struggle for a fair globalization is always a 3-mark question which is expected of. Consumer rights is for project work. So when we, by now, we have all collected the projects for the children, class 10 children. Out of it, 3 are highlighted here. Consumer awareness, social issues, and sustainable development. It has to be kept as a record. Out of it, all the 3 should be done in a class. It is not one class highlighting only on social issues or one class highlighting on sustainable development. The whole class should partially utilize all these 3 topics, and these 3 topics can be discussed in the class to make the children aware about all the 3 topics. And this has to be preserved in the school for any further this thing. And how are we going to assess the projects with these marks? 5 marks for projects, content accuracy, originality, and analysis. Here in our school, we have highlighted there are, though CBSE tells that it can be digital, we are not concentrating on digital work. The child has to write in hand by preparing a draft, and we just cross check and give added ideas if the child wants to. And Viva makes it clear for the child to become confident to answer on what the child has done on the project. So here, a summary report should be prepared, highlighting objective realized through individual work. We have to write the summary report. A child has to write this the child's preparation of the project. And as a teacher, we have to compile a report to be kept ready on all these activities. When did we give this? And what are the innovative ideas generated in the process? List of questions asked in the Viva. So all these things have to be prepared by the teacher. Then projects can be handwritten and digital. Digital, of course, it is all given here, but to make every child do a work on project, we have to compulsorily say that it should be handwritten, so that the child knows the pattern of how neatly a project can be done. And they'll once they have the draft with them, they'll know to cross-check the length and the content, which is just designed by the teacher. Every teacher can have the freedom of not making it very long and not making it very short. It should have the content connecting to the topic. We have then the question paper design. Remembering and understanding according to Bloom's taxonomy, we just have 35% of 80 marks. That is 28 questions will be done by the children. if they are thorough with the text. And application level is 15 marks. And evaluating, analyzing, and creating is giving their own ideas and discussions for such questions. It is 32 marks. 32 marks, we can highlight it as source-based questions and multiple choice questions, which can come as true or false, filling the blanks, assertion and reasoning, and then pick out the odd one out. All these are the things which the child has to identify itself to make the correct decision of a correct answer. Map skill, of course, is the easiest way to score 5 marks. And so the question paper sample, the question paper is for 80 marks and 20 marks is for internals. Internal assessment, periodic assessment, all class test and the cycle test and the periodic assessment 1, 2, and 3, all these average marks will be converted to 10. And then we have the portfolio, which is 5 marks. What is a portfolio? It can be the classwork. Classwork means the notebook presentation with the child writes a lecture notes, or it prepares a systematic way of any subject which is done in question answer pattern, or the bulleted points or the concept of the lesson. And the assignments and all the test papers, all this can be done. And if the child is interested in any topic, or if newspaper clippings can be kept in the portfolio, and the certificates won in by the student in the field of heritage quiz, or any quiz for that matter, Ramayana quiz, whatsoever. So these certificates can be kept inside the portfolio. It just tells the interest taken by the child in that subject and how we assess it as for 5 marks. So participation of students in different participation also can have a highlighted point for the mark scoring. So Heritage India's quiz, not all children can participate in Heritage India quiz, but the child would have just got into the quiz journals and picked out a few questions as quiz and written the answer. That also is an appreciable way for which the child can be motivated to add it on to the portfolio. So this is 5 marks, and subject enrichment activity is what we call it as for a project work. Out of the 3 topics, 1 is assessed for 5 marks. So here, map items, we have to be very, very clear. History has got definitely 8 places. By Congress session is the only one which is confusing, that is Calcutta and Nagpur. Both are in 1920. December 1920 should be only Nagpur, and September 90. Questions can come for locating or labeling. September 1920 means it should be only Calcutta. So the children have to make themselves clear with these 2 places. Otherwise, all other places are quite easy. On drilling, on frequent test, on map, they can definitely score 2 marks for map. Out of 5 marks, it is 2 marks given for history. Geography, it's in Dundee is also here. Okay, so geography, we have major soil types. It's only for identifying. So the shaded place can be given for what type of soil, if at all, the question paper has. Water resources, here it is locating and labeling. The child has to locate where is this Salal Dam, on what river is Salal Dam built. So we need a bit of practice here, giving the names of rivers. Map work is there in the geography text. So name of the rivers, and on top of this rivers, dams are built. So 8 dams we have to drill on out of 23 dams in India actually. Next is agriculture. It's only for identification. Again, the shaded place, major areas of rice and wheat. And then largest major producers states of sugarcane, tea, coffee, rubber, cotton, and jute. So here in minerals and energy resources, it's only for identification. So identification means not labeling. Labeling is already the line will be given, the arrow will be given on a dot. But identification is the child has to know where the iron ore mines. If at all, the shortcut for making this map work more interesting is the child should be able to know the states. So when the states are very much thorough, and when we teach the particular lesson, the states have to be highlighted. If Bellary is in Karnataka, the concept of immediately when we teach about iron ore mines, we have to make them locate the map marking, and the child knows that it is only in Karnataka. So the initial step when we start this lesson, we have to have the map kept ready for them to mark simultaneously. So before that, the child should be thorough with the states of India. Only then it is possible for them to score easily without any difficulty. Otherwise, all of a sudden, we just ask them to mark Raniganj, Chalkar, Neyveli, Basin, Kalol. All this is not possible. Right from the time when we do the map activity, we have to have the drilling of states made familiar, especially Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Bihar. These are the three places which the child, and that is mainly the mineral belt of India. So these three places towards the eastern side is to be made clearly clear for the children. And then these places are quite easy for them to locate. Oil fields, almost everything in Assam and Bombay High towards the western region. And power plants, we have only three places, one in Karnataka, Namrup, Singrauli, thermal power plants. Nuclear, of course, it is quite detailed. So mineral resources and manufacturing industries is quite long. And major ports, we have lifelines of national economy, we have major ports. Definitely towards the western east, we have to make it clear. It should start from Kandla, that is in Gujarat, and then come slowly in Mumbai, Marmagao, New Mangalore, Kochi, and then Tuticorin, that is nearing Tamil Nadu, and then Chennai, Visakhapatnam. It goes down and it goes towards the east. It stops with Haldia and Calcutta. So map marking for ports is quite easy and interesting. Children enjoy doing it. And the names are also clear for them because they are locating it on the states. International airports, we have to first of all make them clear with the names of the airport. And the question usually reflects with the name of the airport. Or Meenambakam Airport is, locate Meenambakam Airport. The child should know it is in Tamil Nadu and the place is Chennai. So either the child should know the places and the names of the airports, or the name of the airport should be made very easy for the children. So these are the concepts which CBSE expects us to do with the syllabus part. Now we'll go on to the sample question paper pattern. Now I'll request Rajni to just start on with. Is Rajni? Shall I stop sharing?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jayalakshmi, miss. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The quotes of Nelson Mandela. A warm and very good evening to one and all present here, dear teachers. Jayalakshmi miss already mentioned regarding the question paper, curriculum and all. Let us move towards the sample question paper of CBSE. So I will share the marking scheme and all. Can you see the presentation, miss?
Yes, madam.
Yes. So moving towards the chapters, I strictly concentrate on geography and economics.
Excuse me, miss. Can you put the screen in full screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now is it clear, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. I'll present it again. Sorry. Now is it clear, miss? Okay. So in geography part, we have resources and development, forest and wildlife, water resources, agriculture, minerals and energy resources, manufacturing industries, lifelines of national economy. These are the chapters we are highlighting in geography part, and all the deleted portions and rationalized syllabus already mentioned by Jayalakshmi miss. Then moving towards the economics part, the chapters are development, sectors of the Indian economy, money and credit, globalization and the Indian economy. And the 5th chapter, she already mentioned that it is to be used only for the project work. Okay. Then we have to be concentrate on the question paper pattern introduced by CBSE in 2022-23. We have different sections in a question paper. Section A contains MCQs, that is multiple choice questions. 20 questions are available there. Okay, so all questions will get multiple choices there. 4 multiple choices we will get, A to D. So it may be different types of questions, maybe fill in the blanks, match the following, and MCQ pattern. Every questions we can expect. Okay, so we will go through again through the question paper, especially on picture-based question also. So here we have to train the children to be a part of to select MCQs in a proper way. They will be lose 1 mark by mistake. So tell them to read the chapters very clearly, line by line. Then only they can score full mark for MCQ section. That is section A contains 20 multiple choice question. And moving towards section B, that is a very short answer question pattern type, 2 marks each. There we will get 4 questions in that part. The total marks is 8. Then section C, moving towards, that is short answer based question. That is strictly based on 3 marks question. We will get 5 questions from that part. Okay. Then 1 question we will get an OR question there. Then section D, that is the long answer question based, that is 5 mark question. In that question, all will get an option. 5 questions are there. Each question will have, 4 questions are there. Each questions will have OR questions. And that we already practiced the last from years, that is case-based questions are there in the question paper, that is section E. Here also 4 mark question and we will get 3 case-based questions. Then the last one is section F, that is map skill based question. That is in a 2+3 pattern, 2 questions from history and 3 from geography. So this is the these are the sections that we have to be very thorough and we have to practice it and familiarize with the children also. Then only they will get a better idea regarding the question pattern. Okay. Then moving towards the sample question paper. Lakshmi Miss, can you please share that question paper?
Rajni, am I presenting?
No, Miss. Yeah, yes. Yeah, thank you, Miss. See, teachers, dear teachers, I already mentioned that there are different sections like A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so we will just go through the sample question paper that is already given by CBSE. Here, all the MCQs question, you can just check, we will get 4 options A, B, C, D. And the third question, please mention the children that these picture-based questions are given over there in the question paper. This is a color print. Tell them to identify a black and white picture also, because in a question paper, we will get only the black and white pictures. So they have to identify. One more thing, 2 questions are there in the picture-based question and one is for the visually impaired children. And tell the children carefully that don't attempt that question. Then these are the questions. You all went through all those question paper pattern, I know. 20 MCQ questions. Okay. So look at the arrange the following, match the following, then case-based questions are there. Here you can see different patterns of questions given over there in MCQ pattern. Here we can familiarize with the, from this chapter, Haryana, Kerala and Bihar all given over there. That is the data. And based on this data also, we can expect MCQs from that part also. Then the reading, find the odd one also. That is also a very simple question, but if we train them in a proper way, then only they can answer in a proper way also. Then fill in the blanks also. See, this is a different type of question, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. Miss also already mentioned that may be confused with organized and unorganized. So they have to give a proper training, then only they can answer such type of questions. Okay. So moving towards section B, that is very short answer questions. Analyze any two factors that were responsible for the Great Depression in America during 1929. That is the question from the making of the global world history part, and make them thorough with that. Don't write it as paragraph and paragraph. Train them to write only 2 relevant points. Then only they will get 2 marks. So key points they have to write. Then these are the types of question. Only one question we will get, or question. Then section C, that is a 3 marks question. I will read one question only, that in what ways multinational corporation different from other companies? Explain with an example. So we have to familiarize with different types of or companies in India and abroad. Then only they will get a clear idea regarding what is multinational corporation and a multinational company or a company that is situated in India. Then all those questions that we can expect from that side, all the 4 textbooks. Then section D, moving towards long answer based questions, that is 5 mark question. All questions will get OR questions, especially SHGs are all very familiar. Reserve Bank of India, its function. Okay, all those parties, political parties and the role of political party and all. And here also, one more thing, we have to very thorough that case-based questions, here we didn't get any MCQs. That is the main thing. Okay, in this new, see the based on this paragraph, analyze the major factor which led London become an attractive place for the job seekers. That is a question. So they have to thoroughly go through the content given over there, then only they can give the answer in a proper way also. There is no MCQ patterns are available in this year. That is content based question. Okay, so that is 3 questions are there. Then moving towards the math skill based questions. Here also we can see that 2 parts, that is 2 questions from history. That is, Miss already mentioned that Indian National Congress session at this place in 1920 and the place where Mahatma Gandhi brought salt law. Then on the political map of outline map of India, they have to mark geography part also 4 mark. 4 questions are there, so they have to locate the places. Labeling and locating, we have to give them proper training. So that is very important part. Okay, so this is a sample question paper given by CBSE. Thank you, Jalakshmi Miss.
Stop.
You can stop sharing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now, yeah. Okay, we just went through it. Now, well, let us look into the answer key. Answer key, a sample answer key where we have to understand. One second. Open. Yeah. So here the answer are more clear. We have to just see to it that children learn the correct answers. They can refer to many sites for questions, but they have to refer the answers from the textbook only. And these are all the sample question paper. As such, CBSE has given only 1, but there are more and more sample question papers when we get into the site, which we have to make them thorough. If they have to gain confidence in writing the exam easily, sample question papers is only the answer. And of course, before that, they'll have to be clear with the lessons as well as the concepts. So here, which of the following description of forest is not correct? So all in a hurry, the child will not read this word not. And all the other answers are equivalently correct, but permanent forest, reserved and unclassed forest for the production of timber. So this is the answer which is not correct. So it is easily for a child to go wrong when they don't have the patience to read the question paper. That's why CBSE has given reading time for them to read clearly and to be slow in making their concepts very clear before they write. So match the following. This is one pattern where they have to first initiate the answers in a pencil and then choose the options which is correct accordingly. Match the following. So here in this, we have the option A, where option A has got this particular question's answer. Then another type is which is incorrect. There we found there's one question which is not correct. Here also it's in a different way from political democratic politics, which is incorrect. So we have to, before it's easy for us to see an answer key and teach. But when we have sample question papers, we have to have the answers ready for them to give confidence and clear answers only from the textbook. Please don't refer any guides. Sometimes guides also give a wrong answer. So here, assertion and reasoning is one concept which is really confusing for a child. They are not at all happy to just attempt it. They feel either both the answers are correct or they feel that why can't this option be correct also? So this is one particular thing where we have to make them learn. Assertion is the sentence which is given in that question, which is very true. Reason should be connected to that sentence of assertion. That is all we have to cut short. So they need not immediately go into that chapter and think about that sentence. It is only whether the assertion sentence is relating to the reason given. So here, democracy is an accountable, responsive and legitimate government. That is assertion. That is true. Democracies have regular, free and fair elections. Decision making is based on norms and procedures. That is connecting to accountability in that particular chapter. So both an A and R are true and R is a correct explanation of A. So the same sentence is reflected in the textbook. The page number is also given. So such questions, assertion and reasoning, we have a few samples due to lack of time. We are just brushing over it and we'll now go to a few examples before we have the question answer session. I just got a few assertion and a picture-based question in history where we can understand. 1 second, I have just made it. Yeah. So history, 1 second. Yeah. So a few pictures which we can concentrate on the pattern of question. Who is represented as a postman in the given image? This is Napoleon Bonaparte. So when we go on a revision towards these chapters, we can just have these questions before them. Rather than in the textbook, it's only the pictures given. But a possible option of these will make the child clear that it is only Napoleon Bonaparte. Dream of the worldwide of the social republic was prepared by whom? It is Frederick Sorio. They have already learned that this picture, there was an artist, French artist, Frederick Sorio. But these pictures can also make the answer relevant with Frederick Sorio. Then comes which idea is best expressed in this image? It is about romanticism, where people are very relaxed and they are just enjoying the seashore. So, but it actually says the massacre at Chaos, where he was one of the most important French romantic painters. So it's just a painting to show an example of romanticism. Then we go to nationalism lesson. In each chapter in history, I've just chosen 4 picture-based questions where apart from this signifies women participating in civil disobedience movement. The option can be, which of the following option best signifies this image? It is only women. So we'll all be immediately assuming that it is non-cooperation movement, but no, it is women's participation in civil disobedience movement. And then in an image given, a lion and an elephant signifies what? rich diversity of fauna in India. So this is power and authority. Bharat Mata, there's another picture there written by, painted by Abanindranath Tagore. So such questions, if we just highlight with the children, when we are practicing picture-based question, it will be helpful for them. So as we are falling short of time, I'm just rushing out. If possible, I'll request Ranjit sir to send to each one of you whatever we have prepared. History, we have picture, second chapter, that is this age of global world. We have these pictures which are completely new. This is one often which I always like the children know. They all are interested with T model automobiles. They are too much of inclined. They are inclined towards automobile. And this is the first T model automobiles lined up outside in a factory. So this picture is quite relevant for them when they see. And this is indentured labor, the Indian indentured labor in Trinidad in the 19th century. So this particular picture shows the ship trade, which is there in the Goa Museum in the 10th century, which says that overseas trade was in abundance even before earlier centuries. Silk route is not here. It is all color. But when we get a question, it is all black and white. This is from age of industrialization, dawn of the century, and the two magicians. These are the two pictures which are given here. And this is one unique print where Indians created not to imitate any machinery in Britain. So a hand woven cloth, intricate design, not to be easily copied by the mills. That is Manchester arrives. So that is one particular picture which is interesting. Spinning jenny, of course, the child will be able to score more marks easily. And here we have a picture which shows again Indian milk cloth label. The child has already learnt in nationalism the image of Bharat Mata. Again, it is symbolically mentioning Bharat Mata, but it is actually the painting done through the means of calendars. Indian milk cloth label, a cloth label which is just posted to make the print media more important, advertisements. We go to the next lesson, the last lesson, print culture and livelihood. It is the this particular picture which tells about how the royal workshop where printing was only for the rich people and how Persian language was just written, Arabic language, where how handwritten manuscripts were made important. This is the Diamond Sutra, a page of Diamond Sutra, the first printed book in Japan. And here we have the penny magazines, which is shown as a picture. Usually in board exam earlier, around 5 to 6 earlier, what are penny books? That is the only question. But here we can expect it in the form of a picture. And then these are manuscripts. These are manuscripts which can highlight. This is actually from Rig Veda. That is it. Manuscripts, there will be an option, but Rig Veda, what is that manuscript highlighting? That is actually pages from the Rig Veda. And then we have this particular Raja Ritudwaj rescuing Princess Madalasa and captivity of the demons. So this is a picture of Raja Ravi Verma, but the personalities given there is also to be noted when it comes to a picture-based questions. Then we go into a few examples of assertion. Ranjit sir, do we have time or shall we just wind up for question answer sessions?
Please proceed, ma'am. No issue, no issue. Please proceed. No
That's
issue.
it, because we have a few examples. Every chapter I've just chosen only two: assertion and reasoning.
Please, you
Some
can,
of the
you can. Don't be right. You take your own time.
That's it. So assertion and reasoning is one concept. These are every chapter we have just bothered to create questions, not very much seen common in the sites and all. So that's why I just created. This is in the lesson of nationalism in Europe. So nationalism emerged as a force which brought about changes in the political and mental world of Europe. That is assertion. The end result of these changes was the emergence of the national states. Easily can it be done because result is that particular world. So the changes are one hint which can say that assertion and reasoning are same. So correct explanation of A. One is easy. Next one is when the Frankfurt Parliament convened, women were admitted only as observers. Okay, that is assertion. That is very much true. But what is the reason? Reason is they were denied suffrage rights. Though they were allowed to be as spectators, they were not allowed voting rights. So A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Next, we go to the nationalism, the second chapter, nationalism in India. Alluri Sitaram Raju claimed that he had a variety of special powers. That is assertion. Reason is he could make correct astrological predictions. That again, I just chose both A and R are true, and R is a correct explanation of A. Because when we take up this assertion and reasoning drilling, it's better that we start up with correct statements rather than not to confuse the children. We just take two correct statements and make them clear that these are two statements which are true, and one assertion is giving the correct explanation with the reasoning. Then nationalism in India, all four choices. But then when we come to the lesson globalization, I have just opted another example. We go to the next option. Both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. Here the child has to be very clear in reading the lines of the book. So to say that it is not correct, the assertion line should be made clear. We consider globalization as rapid growth of global trade in the last 50 years. That's the assertion. What is reasoning? But globalization has a long history which emerged with centuries of trade, migration, and option. When it compares to the present century, it is not true. So last 50 years means the book is older 20 years earlier. And now last 50 years means it is not correct. So both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. Indus Valley had no active foreign trade. That itself is assertion. But foreign trade was not there. So that itself is wrong actually. For more than a millennium cowries. Cowries is that count of what the shells, which they used it as currency, that was found in China and East Asia. So A is wrong and R is correct. That was the source of currency in China. And this is found as a source for knowing how money was under transaction. So there we come. And the last topic is the first symbol of new era was cotton. This is from the lesson Age of Industrialization. Both A and R are true. I've just taken examples of all the four options of A, B, C, D under assertion and reasoning. 8.1, we find the same thing. Both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. Then we go to print culture and livelihood. Here, with the setting of printing presses, visual images could be easily reproduced in copies. That is assertion. So visual images could be easily reproduced. Visual images were not easily reproduced when in that particular century. So with setting up of printing presses, this is assertion. These prints did not begin shaping popular ideas. Popular ideas and modernity and all came in the end of the 19th century, where they started reacting towards their vision and their freedom of expression. So A is correct and R is wrong. So when we go to that lesson, we have to understand, to be very clear in notifying. Before we teach the children, we have to make a note of what can be coming as assertion and reasoning. We just can highlight it in the book, and when we teach the children, we can ask them to mark that particular lesson. Of course, it's very detailed. We have to do a lot of homework before we start teaching. But to make the children confident, we have to do a bit of effort. In 1870, the Vernacular Press Act was modeled on Irish press laws. Correct. That is, it was not modeled on Irish press law. It is the year which is, it is actually not in 1870, it is 1876. So here, a slight mistake on dates can make the child lose 1 mark if the child is studious to score full. So 1870 is not there. 1876, the Vernacular Press Act was passed, modeled on Irish press law. So A is wrong, but R is correct. So this is telling about the Vernacular Press Act, the meaning of how printing press can be seized and printing machinery confiscated. So these are some of the examples which I felt like sharing in history. Map marking, of course, this is locating. Locating is on the whole, with the questions given, a location should be done. Identification is much easier. When the arrows are given, the children must be knowing. Here, Of course, identifying Chauri Chaura is one question. The place which helped in withdrawing the non-cooperation movement is definitely in Uttar Pradesh, Chauri Chaura. And the indigo plantation, it's in Bihar, Champaran. And place where Gandhiji started the satyagraha in favor of cotton mill workers, it's Ahmedabad. So this is one part in history which I have found. Democratic politics also has the same conditioning of assertion and reasoning in all the 5 chapters, the same way. If now Rajini has also got a few examples on tables in economics, this is more important than assertion and reasoning. So I call upon Rajini to please share these tables in economics, which I feel that that has to be made note of. One second, I'll stop sharing. Rajini, can you please?
Yes, Miss. I'll share it. Okay, teachers, we will continue with a few examples from just before that.
We'll go on only economics.
Okay. Just go through the map marking is okay.
Yeah, map marking, of course, they're all there in the book.
Okay.
How far they practice only counts.
We
But
can
economics,
expect,
we have to know the table-based questions.
Yeah. From this geography part, teachers, please make them sure that they can identify the soil by the picture given over there in the question paper. That is on in black and white. That no picture-based questions can be identified. They have to be thorough with all the soil pictures given over there in the textbook. This is a sample questions, and we will just go through it again. Then this question is very important because identify the 200-year-old irrigation system used by the people of Meghalaya. There is a chance to wrong answering for all those things. Channel-based irrigation, drip irrigation and all. Make sure that they have to write the correct answer, that is bamboo irrigation. Sure that the question and the picture-based question from geography, that is bamboo drip irrigation system. And moving towards the other pattern of questions, like the based on the bar graph and all, picture-based questions from economics also give more importance to GDP and all, per capita income calculation. That is also very relevant because they must be aware of how to calculate national income, per capita income. So here we have a sample question. 4 families incomes is given over there. They have to calculate what is the income of the whole family or the other persons. So you will get number of questions. Okay. So see, these are the sample questions that I collected from geography, and we know that we have to practice them to write the correct answers for 3-mark question, 5-mark question, read the extract given over there, and they have to identify what is the primary sector, secondary sector and all. So make them sure that there is no confusions regarding the sectors, map marking and all. And then here we will get map marking also, a seaport located in Gulf of Kutch. Such type of questions we can expect. So make them sure that they have to identify the states properly first. That is the one of the easiest way to get into the correct answer for map marking. And there is lack of time to go through all those questions. We can expect a session recent question from see, this is one question, important question that we can expect from geography part also. That is Rajasthan and Gujarat. We have that enormous potential for the development, solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. Reason, materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs. But human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access this, are included among developed resources. So we can have the answer C, that is assertion is correct, but the reason is false. So such type of assertion reason practices we can give and make them trained in a proper way, because they have to frame questions also. That is what we are doing in our classes also. paragraph and paragraph we have to give them, and they have to prepare questions. So in that way, they have to be familiar with all those questions, and in the especially we have to practice the sample question paper. And we will definitely share the questions prepared and all the maps prepared here. And that is already given over there in the textbook, but we know that after the 2 years of online teaching and all, they are still expecting the materials that we shared in our WhatsApp group and all, so we can share it. Thank you so much, teachers, for your cooperation. And thank you, Ranjit sir, our principal, all the teachers. Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing. You can continue, Jalakshmi Miss.
Yeah. That's it. We are just 1 second. I'll just start it. Oh my God. Share screen. So we'll now move on to question answer session. Any questions? I found a lot of questions there on the message chat box, sir, but I was not able to answer each one of them. I don't know how so many questions I went through. Out of it, definitely we are just.
Ma'am, I will tell you. One query, please forward the picture-based and assertion reasoning questions. Okay, once I received the questions and PPT from the RP, we will provide the same to your registered mail ID. So we are able to process that. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what? Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Question number 3 for visually impaired is about Geeta Govinda, ma'am. That's not from picture print culture. That is an out of syllabus question from novel lesson. I
Novel
believe.
printing basis. Yes. Sample question paper itself has got an error. That is it. This from actually novel lesson, which is outdated. It is deleted since 3 years. That's it. Yeah. Then another question I found.
Where there is no other questions I can found. Let me see. No, chat box, there is no other questions, ma'am.
Okay. Any teachers, if you want to just share your questions, please do it. We are free to answer of just 2 or 3 minutes. Or you can just give the feedback of what you felt and what in what ways we have to improve in our presentation. That can also be accepted for our next preparation. Any teacher for that matter?
One or two can unmute and say your feedback, and others can use the chat box to give your feedback.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
I have just one clarification. Yes, food security is not there in the book. In geography, food security, that topic is not there in the book, but it is included in the syllabus.
That's what.
And what should we do with that? Whether to teach from the old book or we can omit?
No. We need not teach from the old book, ma'am. Actually, CBSE should not give a question in that, but the child should know what is food security. So we have just given an introduction of what is food security and how is it important in India. Public distribution system. They have learnt in the lesson, if you can just take last year's 9th standard book, after poverty, there's a lesson on food security. So it just clearly tells about the importance of food security. So certain concepts which these 3 years batch, they have not learnt about food security because of COVID pandemic. So it is better that we give an introduction on food security rather than to make it in a very detailed way.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Just one more clarification.
Yeah.
This time, do we have all 21 lessons?
Yes.
We have all 21 lessons, fortunately or unfortunately.
Okay. Just in manufacturing industries, jute, cotton, and iron, everything is out of question. They have deleted it.
Yeah.
Now, in sample question paper, we have one question for jute industries. Jute mill.
Yeah, that
now,
can
again,
be. Yeah.
There is one confusion.
Sample question paper, of course, that can also have some errors, no, ma'am. So we just have to understand where we have to make the child understand. Definitely, when it comes from a deleted portion, no, when we go for valuation, we just make a correction and we grant marks if at all the child has attempted anything. So let us stick on to the excluded portions very seriously. At the same time, make it very clear to make more of MCQs pattern, because there is where a full studious child loses marks only in that particular part. So that particular concept of gaining 20 marks fully is more to be concentrated. So we have to take effort in preparing more such questions for them to gain confidence. Side time, another 3 months, we have to work hard.
Another question, 3 project in the chat box, 3
yes,
project
sir,
is
that I
compulsory or
will.
not?
No, it is not 3 project. There is only, we have to do only 1 project.
One.
The
A
topics
child
is
has to do
over
only
there.
one.
Yeah. So that children can have the right to choose any of the topic given over there. According to their choice, they can choose from these 3 topics.
Okay, fine. Another question, which chapter is connected with the connectivity with the grade 9? That is another
That's
question.
already mentioned by Jalakshmi Miss
Food,
now.
food security. Food security. If you take up that book, poverty, there is the last chapter in geography. Geography, it is poverty. After that, the last chapter is food security. So I remember teaching that lesson. It ends up with public distribution system. It tells about the ration card and the types of ration cards and all these things, how the people are, how food is distributed by the government, the buffer stock, all these details are given in that chapter. But since 3 years, we have deleted that chapter. So probably to give out an awareness on food security, a short introduction can be made by the teacher to make the child know what is food security in a country.
Ma'am, one more doubt.
Okay, another, wait a moment, miss. One more question from the chat box.
Yes.
Case-based questions will from which chapters, and CBSE never asked picture-based questions. That is the comment.
Yeah, that is what before we discussed that picture-based questions are here in the sample question paper this year onwards. So we will have expect all the picture-based question from democratic politics and all. It is not mentioned over there, but in the sample question paper we will get question from geography, especially from history. They have to thorough with all the pictures. That is what I want to say. And case-based questions,
yeah,
we will get 3 questions. Maybe from all the, it is not mentioned over there, but we can expect from any of the textbooks.
3 topics in social science. We will get each source based. Definitely one will be from history, one will be from politics, and one will be from economics, because map marking is already reflected. Picture based can also come from geography. So geography, more or less, it is very less expected of source based in geography. But definitely politics and economics and history, we can expect source based questions. Yes, Riya ma'am wanted to ask.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I want to know about a project related to popular struggles and movement, no democratic politics, ma'am. Is it compulsory to give a project from this chapter, popular struggles and movement?
Ma'am, one thing I would suggest, we are not going to tell the children that you can go through the lesson popular struggles to find out. The topic is social issues. The child already can highlight any social issues which he or she finds it in the society and take it up and finds its own idea of how to solve it and what were the reasons for that particular issue to create on. How did it just flare up? Why did it end up like that? So an analytical basis of thought by the child is more important. Let us not tell that you can refer popular struggle lesson. No, it's all outdated. Nepal has become a democracy long time back. But there in that particular chapter, it just tells about King Gyanendra, where he is just removed from democracy and people start a struggle, a session which makes the kingship, the monarchy remove. All these things are outdated to the present day. So it's better that we don't mention that particular chapter for them to see at all. So it's enough social issues, so many social issues, but please be specific to concentrate only on India. They will go to America, Canada, or whatsoever, any place which is not available for them to know. They'll just concentrate. You have to create, prepare project on social issues, which is in India.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, teachers?
What about art integrated project? Last year we have done Himachal Pradesh. Now this year, do we have anything with Kerala?
Not so far, Shahnaz ma'am. We don't have so far because last year we did not. We had a lot of deleted portions. We had ample time.
Yeah.
But I don't think now CBSE will give this art
Yeah.
integrated projects. It can be combined as one of the activity which can be added as portfolio for a child. So
Okay,
if at
then,
all it has to come, I
ma'am,
don't think there is enough time for art integrated project to be done because we have so much to complete in the form of written examination and finishing of the portions. So
Yes,
let
sir.
us hope, keep fingers crossed,
Rajini-
like art integration and all not come this year. 2 years we did Himachal
ma'am,
Pradesh, same
no.
concept.
Can I tell you one thing regarding
Yes,
art
yes,
integration? CBSE already mentioned it is compulsory in the curriculum document. Initial pages
Yeah.
of curriculum document, it's very clearly mentioned. So there is no
Yeah.
change for that. But so far there is no special circular
Mentioning.
issued for that. Mentioning
Yeah.
circular issue only in the curriculum document, initial pages of curriculum document, it's very clearly mentioned that art integrated project
Yes,
is compulsory.
Yeah.
And another thing
Every
is that
school will have to do an art integrated project and keep it as a group activity. That is what is meant. But exclusively, the whole country has to do on a particular month and all. I don't think there is enough time for us to concentrate on all that. That's it. Art integration.
but be ready for that, the teachers.
Yeah,
We have to
sure.
be ready for everything.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Children
is.
also is interested to do such type
you
of
can
act-
expect anything anytime. So
Sure,
be
sure.
ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, teachers? Otherwise, sir, it's already 8:20. You have to.
Shall I give my
one,
vote of thanks?
Ma'am, what about aluminium smelting, chemical fertilizer, automobiles, mobile and
Automobile
IT industries, other
industry,
than
yeah,
cotton,
manufacturing industries.
other than cotton, jute, cement, iron
We have
industry
the
will be there or
excluded.
not?
Now, excluded part is only cement industry and iron and steel industry and
Yes,
textile
yes.
industry.
Yeah.
And these three topics we have to just mention because they are all skill based. When they go out for in search of jobs, when they highlight in their educational engineering fields and all, these are all the basics. So we can't omit, we have to, and children like to learn all that. Exclusively, the main thing they get confused with that fertilizer industry. Fertilizer has got a lot of chemical terms and they are finding it difficult. But automobile and chemical industry and all, they are quite interested because chemical engineering is one concept which is now flaring up in the means of occupation. So we have to just inspire the children to, all these are the basics on which further studies you can just highlight on these topics.
Yes, miss. Then any chance to reduce the chapters? One question is
Done
from
by
the-
mistake.
Yeah.
So
We
sample
all
question
wish
paper
to, we
released,
all pray for it.
Sample question paper released,
Yes,
curriculum
yes.
document released, and
We're
examination
waiting
date
for
is
one particular topic, deleted
Yes, yes.
portions, at least in the last minute.
So teachers,
Yeah,
my
and
dear teachers, don't
one
ask
more
for that
question, ma'am.
deletion.
That is popular struggle, also a deleted chapter, right? Yeah.
No, 1 mark.
Already
It
mentioned.
is deleted.
Okay, that is deleted.
2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks.
So, my dear teachers, I think it's the time for wind up the session. As you know that we are already running out of the time. So, on behalf of Central Sahodaya Conclave Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala, we are fortunate with two resource persons, eminent resource person and experienced teachers, Srimati K. Jayalakshmi G. Rao, teacher, social studies from Bhavan's Vidya Mandir Girinagar, and Srimati Rajini K.G., teacher social studies from Bhavan's Vidya Mandir Girinagar. Sincere thanks for your effort. The session is more effective and wonderful one. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. all the
Thank you, sir.
participants.
Of course,
Now
we
over
were
to you.
not able to do completely the picture point presentation properly. Anyway, we'll be sending it to all the teachers.
Thank you, teachers, and thank you, Ranjit sir.
Thank you all.
the
Thank you very
teachers-
much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Shall we wind up the session officially?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We are with all permission from all the participants.